tell each other we loved each other about 5 times a day. We seemed to bring out the best in each other, seemed to fit.
I believed I was happy, and I believed that Lynne was happy. She got pregnant, everything was great.
Yay! And the other one.
Stephen and Lynne Jones were married for 9 years.
Hi, Daddy.
Together they built a home and a family.
It took me a while to realise how bloody selfish she really was.
So I just lost faith in them. They were just too weak.
But like 1 in 3 British marriages, theirs has fallen apart.
I would like the divorce to be amicable, for the sake of the children.
I want it to be as quick and clean, hassle-free as possible. I want to get on with my life.
They now live at opposite ends of the country.
Come on, let's just get over it and move on. That'd be nice. That's what I want.
I spent 8 months with them, finding out what happens when love breaks down and people move on. I watched them trying to do their best, but none of us was prepared for how painful their journey would turn out to be.
Right, how are you getting on?
Lynne and Stephen had been separated for 6 months when filming began.
Like that?
When the marriage ended, Lynne left southern England,
And you've got the square.
gave up a career in sales, and moved back to her home city of Edinburgh with their 2 sons, Oliver 4 and Harvey 6.
Alright, I'll leave you two to it then. Okay?
They hadn't gone through the courts to decide where the children would live, but had agreed between themselves that Stephen would have them every school holiday.
Tomorrow, they're flying down to see their daddy. I think they're looking forward to it, and it's really good for them to spend time with him. You know, obviously have that kind of male figure in their life. Because I suppose at the moment it's very, very female-orientated in their life at the moment. Yeah. So, and then of course they get to spend time with Stephen's family as well, and they've got like loads of grandchildren, so it's all like kids together. So they have good fun, absolutely.
Look.
Oh, Oliver, that is fantastic.
I done it all by myself.
I know. Isn't it brilliant? You've done a really good job.
That first minute I see them, the first seconds, all the upset and worry is just going to vanish. Because then I've got them for 2 weeks. I'm not at work. I've got nothing else to do apart from concentrate on them having a good time and coming away from here with 2 weeks of memories.
Stephen had taken the day off from his work as a store manager to go and collect his sons. He hadn't seen them for 2 months.
I just can't wait. Words cannot describe the fact that I'm going to see them very, very shortly. It has been heart-wrenchingly horrible being separated from them.
Oh.
Good job. Just kiss. What about McDonald's?
I would like the divorce to be amicable. I always have done. It really has to get to the point where we can be amicable and friends and stuff like that. That's really important to me.
The future is us separate with the boys in between, and how we deal with them together but apart. All they really need to know is that they've got a mummy who loves them and a daddy who loves them. Just mummy and daddy don't love each other, but there's still enough love there to go around. And that's all they need to know.
I'd like them, when they look back on this, to say, you know, that mummy and daddy didn't make each other happy anymore, didn't love each other anymore, but, you know, they both loved us very much, and they wanted to try their hardest to make things as good as possible for us, give us as good as life as possible. That's what I'd like.
They both seem pretty determined to have a good breakup, but having experienced my own parents' divorce, I guess that it wouldn't be easy.
Love you. I love you too.
Only a month later, their ambition would be put to the test. When we first started filming with Stephen and Lynne, they were determined to have an amicable breakup. But only a month later, something happened that threw everybody. Lynne was returning with the boys from a holiday in Malta with her mother.
But the taxi's over here somewhere.
She told me that she and her mum had always had a volatile relationship. But this time things had got out of hand. They'd had a physical fight.
I think it's this way.
You know, obviously I regret what happened in Malta because it wasn't pretty. She just started, oh, if you're going to be like this, like wagging her finger in my face. I'm like, She gave as good as she got, believe me.
Lynne's mother decided to call Stephen and tell him what had happened.
Lynne had got very drunk and beaten her up with the boys watching. Lynne can destroy herself for all I care, but I'll be damned if she's going to take those boys with her. I've decided that for the best interests of Harvey and Oliver, it's got to be with me. They need the normality, they need stability, they need routine. They're not getting any of that. They've got to stop the rot. I want the boys, I want them back.
The fight in Malta had made Stephen realise that he'd never been happy about the boys living in Edinburgh with Lynne. His reaction was about to start a chain of events that would turn their lives upside down. In Edinburgh, Lynne was unaware of Stephen's change of heart.
Jackie Chan. Oh, no, you don't.
Best for it now.
Don't get up, get up.
There's no one to save you now.
That's when we're in the clouds. That's the sound from Malta Beach. When we went to the seaside, and that's the town square.
What was the best bit?
On the beach.
Who's that? Is that me?
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
That's me.
We're holding hands.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice, isn't it?
That's Harvey. That's Mummy. That's me.
Definitely.
"450 miles away, in Kent, Stephen was putting into action the first part of his plan to get the boys back. He phoned social services to report Lynne.
Worried about the safety of my children. They live in Edinburgh with my ex-wife. She actually beat her own mother up in front of the children. I'm just beside myself with concern, and there's nothing I can do.
Hi, Hi, Daddy. Hi, Daddy.
Harvey, Harvey, Harvey. Hey.
Well, I remember it very well, actually, the first time I saw Stephen. I was in the student union in Portsmouth. He was at university doing architecture, dancing on the dance floor, as you do. And I saw Stephen with his long hair. He's a really good dancer, by the way, Stephen is. That's one of these good points. I was like, oh, he's really cute.
And she approached me and said I danced well. She liked my hair. I had long hair down my back, said I looked really good, looked like JK, Jamiroquai.
So yeah, we just got together, and kind of after that, we were inseparable, really.
One of the things that was great about being with Lynne was the amount of fun that she needed to have. She had a good job. I'd been struggling for a couple of years as a student, and when she had fun, it was great. Everybody was just join in, and she would have fun infectiously.
I never wanted to get married, but when I met Stephen, things changed. Really did. I thought, yeah, I do want to be with this person the rest of my life. I do want to marry him.
I believed I was happy, and I believed that Lynne was happy. I thought I must be in love because we're getting married.
Rather than having a big old-fashioned wedding cake, we had
2 cakes. It was Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy.
we just thought, oh, that's the eternal couple. Because when you think about it, actually, I'm obviously Miss Piggy, kind of, hi-ya, and Kermit the Frog going, woo, and kind of just, oh, Miss Piggy, I'll do anything for you. That's kind of what it was like.
I loved her, and I did tell her that I loved her. This one's for Mummy.
Oh, okay.
She doesn't deserve to have the children.
It was 2 weeks since Stephen had called social services. He hadn't cooled down. He was determined to get the boys living with him permanently.
My resolve now is twice as what it was, so she's not going to get away with it.
Lynne had realised what Stephen was doing. That morning, social services were going to pay her a visit.
Dear Ms. Jones, we would like to meet with you to discuss concerns raised by your ex-partner, Mr. Stephen Jones. A duty social worker will visit you at home. Please contact the duty senior social worker if you wish to discuss this content of this letter or arrange an alternative time. It was like a kick in the teeth, to be honest with you. Stephen has definitely scraped the bottom of the barrel doing this, I think. It's made me very, very, very upset. I was in tears, you know, on the phone to my friends, sort of thing. So, in fact, even now it makes me upset.
We've got to overturn the status quo. Because if anything happens, I wouldn't be able to forgive myself for not trying. And the boys, when they're older, will say, well, Daddy, why didn't you do it?
Social services had visited Lynne and made her aware of Stephen's allegations.
Stephen was concerned about my violence and alcohol problem, which is quite farcical, really. Obviously, I did have that fight with my mum. I'm not denying that. I told her that actually happened. It's not a regular occurrence. And as for the alcohol thing, that's just farcical. I mean, I actually drink a lot less than I ever have. I don't drink spirits anymore. And I go out, yes, I do have a drink, and I do get tipsy, but my friend Linda was here, and she babysits for me, and she says she's never once seen me come in drunk. I don't know what's going through his head. I don't know him. I don't know who he is anymore.
Stephen had been supporting Lynne and the boys, but now he'd decided to stop. He told her he would pay, but only through the Child Support Agency.
Let's try this.
Lynne had put in a claim, but it could take months to come through. For the time being, they were living on benefits.
I actually thought he was a better person than this. You know, not to put any parenting money towards his children. I would never have thought when we split up that he would shirk from his responsibilities with something like that. But there you go, just shows you how little I knew him. Every penny that I get goes on the children. Taking them swimming, going to the cinema, making sure they have nice meals, that sort of thing. So I'll try my best. It's going okay so far. I think I'm doing okay. I don't badmouth him to them, but we just can't understand why Daddy can't give some money.
The gap between Stephen and Lynne seemed to be widening, and I wondered how that was affecting the children.
No, it's attached to there.
Do you talk to Daddy on the phone, Harvey?
Mhm.
Do you talk to him often?
Mhm. It doesn't phone us, though, really.
Why not?
I don't know.
Do you know when you're going to see him again?
No, he works all day. Sometimes he gets 14 days off.
Does Daddy work very hard, do you think?
B&Q, down in England. I wanted Daddy to stay with Mummy forever, but he couldn't because Daddy broke up Mummy's heart.
Lynne decided to hit back at Stephen. If he was going to use money, then she was about to use a risky new tactic.
22 a.m. Hi, it's me. Just been trying for 2 days now to get hold of you to discuss whether you're going to do any maintenance this month. Obviously, you're not, so I just want to let you know that you won't be seeing the boys till you start paying maintenance. Alright, if you want to give me a call to discuss it, that'd be great. Okay. End of message.
She can go fuck herself for that. I don't care. You know, I'm not going to pay her a penny. She doesn't deserve it. And she's using the children as a means to get money. She's horrible, nasty, evil.
If he had the decency to get in touch with me and say, I really want to see them, of course I wouldn't stop them going, but he's not even bothered to phone to discuss it with me.
You know, you see it all the time on films or on TV, like, oh, could you lend us a £5? I'll get my gyro next week, I'll pay it back to you then. It's almost like that.
I'm not that hard-hearted. I'm not hard-hearted at all, in fact, that I would stop them seeing them at Christmas time. But I just wanted to make him call me, really, because I was kind of at my wit's end what to do.
It feels good to get something back on her, because that's how she's made me feel, really, over the last 6-7 years. So now it's nice, you know. Bullies don't like to be bullied. They can't cope with it, and she's just a bully.
You miss him. Okay, it's alright, you can say how you feel, it's alright. You know you're allowed to say how you feel. Okay?
But why won't you give her money?
Because she wants money on top of what she's getting to fund whatever it is that she's doing. It's not about the boys, she just wants money.
I wondered why these two people couldn't talk to each other anymore, when in the beginning they'd shown each other so much love and care.
So I'll quick walk up the garden. And his husband.
When I was born, I was 4 weeks premature and I had to go into an incubator. Asthma, I'm a diabetic, you know, all these things have happened to me, you know, all the others have sailed through life quite happily. Meanwhile, I'm the one trailing on the end, picking up all the rubbish.
I think I encouraged him, gave him confidence in himself. That's the way I am with the children as well, like encouraging them all the time, saying how good they are and how beautiful they are. And I suppose I did used to say those things to him as well. Yay! So I'll be completely changed after we've got our hands on it.
Just bought us our second house, and it all still seemed to be a party. It was just, I started from there and started trying for a baby, and it didn't take long, and everything was great. Really, really happy. Where's the baby?
There.
Where? I can't see it.
There.
You're moving.
It was nearly Christmas. Lynne and Stephen were still at stalemate over where the boys would be for the New Year holidays.
Are you serious?
At Stephen's parents' home, where the family was celebrating the birthday of Stephen's niece, he seemed all too aware of what he was missing.
Stephen's been very, very close to sort of mental breakdown, where pressure's been so high on him that he really didn't know what to do, where to go. Losing himself, if you like, wander off, sit in his car all night perhaps, just wondering what life meant to him anymore. So we realised that there was a lot to do, particularly bringing his own confidence back, so that he knew he could eventually get the boys, not lose them forever. Sue and my support has been almost as much financially as physically. We've done our best to fill the gap. This is probably very tough for Stephen because he sees the rest of the family and he knows his own boys are a long way away.
I wanted the flowers, please.
This was the first Christmas that Stephen was going to spend without his sons. And he wasn't going to back down over seeing them at New Year. He wrote to Lynne to say that he was coming to collect them, regardless of what she said.
I'm sure you can agree that the time they spend with me is beneficial to them and also gives you a break, especially this time of year in Edinburgh when you'll be able to enjoy the celebrations without worry looking after 2 children. No, that's hilarious. I very much look forward to seeing my boys at the end of the month. I know that they will be excited to see me too. Now, isn't that funny? What a cheek. He doesn't say when he's bringing them back though. I like to see it in writing when he's bringing them back, because I don't trust him. You go to stay with him? No, just for the holiday.
Lynne relented. But she demanded written confirmation of when Stephen would bring the boys back. Stephen was on his way to Scotland to pick up his children. He'd brought his mum for support. So much had happened since that peaceful handover at the airport in the autumn that Stephen felt he couldn't even trust Lynne to hand over the boys.
If she decides that she thinks that I can't have them, then I'm actually quite looking forward to it. I actually feel that it's more of a game now. I can now control her in such a way that she thinks she's controlling me. I'm going to show her that she means nothing, and everything she says is just like irrelevant.
It was 7 o'clock in the morning, and Lynne was getting the kids ready for their trip. She'd had some friends around the night before for Christmas drinks, and her new boyfriend Alan had stayed over. Alan was planning to keep a low profile when Stephen arrived.
Quite frankly, if I could avoid it right now, I wouldn't want to see him. Because he's done so many bad things recently that I just really wouldn't want to see him.
You have to bring us to the train station.
No, Daddy's coming to pick you up, darling.
Oh, we better not miss the train.
Don't worry. You won't miss the train.
I wonder if he's going to give me a big massive present.
Who?
Daddy. A big massive one.
So we'll be tough when Stephen comes in.
I would say so.
See you in a minute.
Yeah, okay. Oh, who's that?
Daddy.
What's your main worry? That she's not going to let him have them. She'd throw a wobbly at the door.
No, he's going to come out and collect you.
He knows how to bring children up. She doesn't. You know, I mean, all this business of sitting in front of the television, and that's all they ever do, and eating takeaways because they don't know how to use a knife and fork. Well, that wouldn't happen with Stephen. They would be at the table and learning how to do things properly. It takes me a week to knock them back into shape again. After she's had them. Are you worried about seeing Lynne?
No. Oh, right.
It's a bit freaky, isn't it?
What?
This.
What do you mean?
Colin and Ulrika are here, yeah?
Are they?
It's not pissed or anything. I actually slipped off the sofa and look. Broken my tooth.
Look what I see.
Before Stephen could take the children away, Lynne was adamant that he had to produce the letter saying when he would return them.
Why do you always write Mrs.? Huh? Why do you always write Mrs.?
Do you know what?
Are we ready?
Come on, answer.
Do you know
Why
what?
do you always write Mrs.?
Daddy,
No, but I'm not Mrs. am
Daddy.
I? No, separated.
Yeah, but you've not signed the divorce papers or sent them back yet, have you?
Mommy,
I don't mean like in a mean sort of way. I just find it really amusing that you write Mrs.
stop.
Right, two.
The exact time is not available as the mode of transport has not been finalised due to cost. What does that mean?
Well, I don't know how I'm getting back yet, isn't it?
What if you can't afford it? What happens then?
Well, cheap cost as in the cheapest option.
I'm just asking the question, Stephen, that's all.
Oh, yes.
It's my title to ask, okay?
I can hear you. Come on then.
Yeah, whatever.
Nice big cuddle. I need that football.
What do you need to
You get a kiss.
And a big hug.
I love you. I love you.
I love you.
I'm gonna miss you.
Okay.
isn't it?
Oh God. Can you let me go?
I don't want to let you go.
Right, are we ready? Got coats?
Should I get a proper kiss, Oliver?
Okay.
You miss me. I love you. I love you. Oh, you really want to go, don't you?
I've got a bag in the taxi that'll fit in.
Oh, but I just don't want it.
Well, you'll be careful then if you're holding it.
Okay.
Okay.
You guys better go then. Last kiss.
Alright then.
I love you.
Have you got a taxi?
I've got a taxi. Well, I don't have my own taxi.
I love you, Oliver.
He's got a taxi.
Oh, it's exciting. I love you, Oliver.
You've got your own taxi.
Cheerio. Have fun, okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Bye.
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 Right. Are you ready?
Ew, Mom. Hello.
Ready, sweetheart? 1, 2, 3.
Hello, Oliver. You alright?
Guess what I made?
Hold
A
on.
big Star Wars
Sit
figure
next to Nanny.
in a spaceship.
You young man, Daddy's going to take you to the barber's.
You need a haircut.
Look at you. Right, that's a job
Two
for Daddy
haircuts.
next week. Two
Do you know
haircuts.
what?
Mummy fell off the sofa last night. Not drunk, but slurring her words this morning. Smells like a brewery.
Oh,
Red, green, purple, or blue.
But yeah, you can't even look at me in the eye anymore. Crazy. Come on, you got to look at this. It's hilarious. Farcical, really. Mrs. Lynn Jones, signed Mr. Stephen Jones.
I think as soon as I get them back, all the clothes are going to have to go in the wash. Smell a bit stale.
It's ridiculous to be together that amount of time and then to have so much hate. There's always going to be that connection there between Stephen and I because of the boys. It's going to be weird to have this relationship with him that is based on dislike, really. Which is not what I wanted. Definitely not what I wanted.
After 10 years together, Lynne and Stephen could hardly bear to be in the same room. Where had all the hate come from? Their marriage had begun so well. So when did the cracks begin to appear?
My mum didn't like her from the word go. Her gut instinct was like, I don't like you. You know, maybe they're similar. I don't know. You know, just too similar and they both knew it.
I made so much effort with these people. Like, his dad is lovely. I absolutely adore his father. He's such a lovely man, but it's just his mum is just so... I was just too different for her, and you know, obviously I've stolen our little boy away from her.
Lynn would always say, you should side with me because I'm your wife, sort of thing, you know. And I say, well, I'm not taking her side and I'm not taking your side. You know, I've got to try and find a happy medium.
He did, as he always did, just buried his head in his sand. Didn't want any confrontation, couldn't stand it. Never ever said to her, look, I'm with Lynn, I think she's great. You know, if you've got a problem with her, that's just tough. You know, you need to get over it, because I'm with this person. Never once stood up for me, and that just really hurt me a lot. Really hurt.
Look at the camera, look at the camera.
Harvey and Oliver had been staying with Stephen down in England for 10 days.
boys are absolutely fantastic. That's what it's all about, really. Mess, chaos. No, it's great. It feels right again.
I think it's mud.
And there was another positive thing in Stephen's life. He'd started a new relationship with a childhood friend, Helen.
Book's in the bag, isn't it?
The book is in the bag.
And the other presents for Oliver.
Which are in the boot of the car?
Which in the boot of the car. We're seeing each other quite a serious relationship. Which is nice. Yeah, she's part of the unit, as it were.
Stephen set off with the boys to return them to Edinburgh, with Helen for support. It was the new year. They both had new partners. It was time for a fresh start, to get on with their lives and go back to being amicable.
He's just the delivery guy. And we'll be polite. And then we'll say goodbye. And then the next time he comes to pick up the children, I'll see him again. And that's how it'll go on from now on. Forever and ever. Are you going to say goodbye to Daddy then?
Bye.
See you later. See you later, sweetheart. See you later.
And Mummy. Kiss on my eye.
Kiss on your eye. Right, you be good. And I'll talk to you on your birthday, honey. Oliver. Talk to you on your birthday. Have a good day.
Talk to me every night.
Yeah. Be good.
You ready to go in the car then? Yeah? Come on then.
Be good.
That is superb, by the way, Harvey. Did you do that by yourself? That's really cool, isn't it? Mummy. Who am I?
You alright?
I'm alright, I'm sorry I got upset.
That's alright.
What, when we get home?
Yeah.
So you guys hungry? Have you had any tea?
Tea? What's tea?
Dinner?
Yeah.
Have you had dinner?
Yeah.
Stephen was still determined to have the boys live with him.
Home sweet home.
He and Helen didn't return to Kent that night. They'd stayed in Edinburgh to check out whether Lynne was caring for the boys properly.
Some people could think that I'm taking on quite a lot with Steve. Because it is really hard on him. Emotionally, it's very up and down. It's quite hard to sort of have a normal life while this is always playing in the back of your mind, isn't it?
Okay.
He will get through it. And hopefully he will be successful as well, so.
It's not just sour grapes. I need to be seen up here.
Having already reported Lynne to social services, Stephen decided to see what the schools had to say about the boys, and got a surprise.
I don't want Harvey to see me at the school, but I wonder if I could... No. No. I handed him back to her last night. So Harvey's not in school. Apparently he's on holiday with his father. I could want to call to social services then. He's not in school. Okay, bye-bye. So that's good.
Stephen went to meet the head teacher and discovered that Harvey had a lower than average attendance record. He was told it wasn't a cause for concern yet, but he was worried and reported Lynne to social services for the second time.
I kept the boys off because Harvey came back with a really bad cough, so we spent the day together. And again, it's just him clutching at straws really. So I'm just wondering what he's going to do next, because I'm sure he's going to do something else. Obviously, we both think differently, and in his head he probably believes that's the truth, that they would be better off with him. But I strongly disagree.
You don't know the power of the dog.
I am a good mother. I know I am. I'd always been the breadwinner, made the money, supported us. Obviously when I had Harvey, I couldn't do that anymore. So that responsibility moved on to him. And it was just an absolute disaster. He just could not cope with it at all.
Lynne had a few problems. It turned out to be postnatal depression undiagnosed.
He had to then be strong. One, try and support me. Two, also try and work and support the family. And he just couldn't do it. He just wasn't strong enough to do it. And then obviously after that, the kind of chips for the way I was feeling about him.
I'm trying to do my best. I'm trying to be all these different people. I wasn't earning enough, and that was a problem for her. I was just so stressed that, you know, through lack of sleep and constant pressure.
Just terrible things, like he'd been like hiding letters, and he'd been borrowing money to do this and do that, because his salary was just appallingly low. That just wasn't enough to keep a family. So I kind of lost all faith in him in the end. So, what about in the Persevere at 9 o'clock? Right, well, you suggest somewhere then, since you're the man of the house, etc. Since you're the man, yeah. On Daddy-o.
Lynne's new relationship with Alan was going through a rocky patch. Her ongoing battle with Stephen wasn't helping.
So I'll be meeting Alan for a drink, just to see how things are going, really. Kind of see where the land lies, see how he's feeling about stuff. Because, you know, I just forget that he's only 21, and that's a lot to deal with, you know. Stuff that's going on in my life at the moment, and he's got stuff going on in his life. So we'll just take it slowly and see what happens. What do you think about Alan? What is he?
Handsome.
And what else? And what else?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Do you want a bag of crisps or pepperami or something?
But these going to be, you don't want me to peel these, just...
Down in Kent, Stephen was focused on one thing, getting his boys back.
I suppose peeling.
He'd gone to discuss Lynne with his brother, Richard.
I've got no desire to see or speak to her again. As soon as she kind of enters your life, it's just like a downpour of problems, you know, always was. Maybe it's just a bad mix. I don't know.
I want to speak to the boys every day, but I hate phoning because I've got to speak to her, and she's like, you know, it's like the gatekeeper.
I know, she is.
I mean, last night when I went to speak to them, I had to talk to her for about 5-6 minutes, and she was saying how her tooth was really, really bad, and she really, really missed me because I wasn't there to look after her.
I can think of 200 people that want to knock her tooth out right now. It always seemed like you were walking behind, carrying the bags, and all you were doing was following, and words were coming out, and I didn't know where they were coming from. And really, you were just like
puppet that she was pulling the strings. So it's just good that you're back here now.
My family down here, my friends down here, and you know, my boys will be down here.
Yeah.
She said at the moment they've only got £40-something to live off because she's had an overpayment on her benefits.
She's had an overpayment on her benefits. Sad news, the boys that have to put up with that.
Well, yeah, I mean, then that comes full circle to say, why aren't I supporting them? But then, if I gave her money, then it wouldn't go to the boys, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. Still, I don't think it will be long.
Social services had concluded their investigation of Lynne, clearing her of Stephen's allegations. They recommended that the couple seek mediation, which Stephen said he was unwilling to do.
You know, you should never expect social services to do anything at all, really. The moment you give them information to try and stop any situations, they're like, you know, no, we can't deal with that. It's not our job.
For Lynne, the news came as a huge relief. She decided to celebrate with her friend Gwen.
That is fantastic. That is brilliant news. Fantastic news.
I was like, oh my God, that is so cool. But yeah, here's to that. Cheers.
Cheers, yeah.
The way he's changed since we've separated, he's turned into a right numpty, isn't he?
Definitely.
But there was still one thing that Stephen had over Lynne: money.
I'm not going to fund her lifestyle, which basically at the moment is going out quite a lot, seeing other people, buying the boys junk food, toys. She has got a good deal, really. I have them for the holidays, and she has the money for it.
Lynne was forced to make a decision.
I'm moving because I can't actually afford to stay here any longer. I sent a text saying, you know, this is what we're living off. Can you at least give something this month for maintenance? And he texts back saying, I've just paid £500 to the council tax bill from the property that we used to live in. I've got £25 to last me for the rest of the month. So I text him back saying, I take it that's a no then, with a smiley face, just to show I've got a sense of humour still left on this kind of subject.
Don't you want to pay any money for your boys?
I will pay money if I have to pay money. I don't want to pay money because I want them to be with me.
Do you know, Stephen even moaned about me taking some of the furniture. He said, well, surely if you've taken some of the furniture, that should be taken into consideration when it comes to maintenance. You're right, Stephen. Whatever. Whatever you say.
It's like chess. It's more a game of strategy.
I felt that for Stephen, this hadn't just been about who got the kids or whether or not they were safe. It also seemed to be about a much deeper wound that Stephen had been nursing for years.
Can I start to put the kettle on?
She's been manipulating and using me for the last however many years and taking me for granted.
I can't believe you gave them the chocolate ones to the nursery. That's just sacrilege.
Mama.
Do you realise that? Eh?
Lynne's always wanted to change me into something that she wanted me to be. And I tried to do that, you know. I'm not made of Play-Doh. You know, she couldn't mould me, and it eventually broke me.
Oh God, I used to go out till like 6 in the morning sometimes. Come back and I'd gone swimming with some friends in like a hotel pool, you know, in my underwear, and I'd tell him this, waiting for him to go, oh, that's really terrible, and oh, I'm going to get rid of you, I want to divorce you, but he would never do it. I used to goad him. That's terrible. Obviously, I've made mistakes, very big mistakes, but I used to goad him into trying to push him to end it, because I couldn't. Because I didn't want to hurt him so much. I didn't want to hurt him.
I thought Lynne and I had a monogamous relationship, but she proved me wrong.
After all the money problems and stuff like that, I actually met someone else, and I told him I wanted to leave him. And, you know, I was very honest with him, said I'd met someone else. And he's written that, obviously, that I had an affair with someone else, which I don't deny because it's true. But it's because I didn't want to be with him anymore at that point.
I think the way I loved her was like the way a puppy would love somebody who's hitting it with a stick. You know, you're hitting me, it hurts, but I love you. You're hitting me, but it hurts, but I love you. You know, I don't understand why you're doing it, but, you know, you're the only person here. And, you know, dogs have sort of blind devotion to people. And I think that's probably what it was.
Lynne and the boys had now moved into a cheaper flat.
Come in. Come in. Hello.
Is your new house?
Yeah. This is the living room. This is the playroom. This is the kitchen, the bath, and the sink, and the toilet. And come out here. Our garden. And I'm going inside now. Gonna freeze out there. So let's get in. Are you coming?
It's about the 10th pair of pants this week that cannot be washed because I don't have a washing machine.
Why not the washing machine?
So the washing machine was part of the old flat. And I don't have a new washing machine here yet.
Will you be able to get one, do you think?
Well, last thing I heard, Stephen was going to buy one for me and arrange for it to be delivered, but nothing's happened as yet.
There's no doubt that she loves Harvey and Oliver. I think she likes the perks that come with it as well. She likes the fact that she doesn't have to work, that she can get a benefit for this, she can get her rent paid for, she can get this, that and the other. Maybe if she feels aggrieved or, you know, that I'm being harsh, I think it's just desserts. She's basically, she controlled the relationship when we were together, and she tried to control my relationship with the boys when we were apart. Dictating when I could see them, when I couldn't see them, when I could talk to them, when I couldn't talk to them. And it's almost non-intentionally she's getting a taste of her own medicine, and quite deservedly so. She doesn't like it. It's going to get worse. It's going to get a lot worse.
Things had got worse for Lynne. She'd run out of money, and her friend Gwen had offered to help her out.
No, it's pretty ridiculous that you're stranded in a situation where you might lose your house.
I mean, I've already made the move to this place because it's cheaper.
And you can't even pay for it?
I can't even pay it. We won't. I mean, if you didn't give me that money, we wouldn't have any electricity.
I know. Lynne, don't get upset about things.
We wouldn't even have any electricity.
I know. And really why you're crying is because you have no electricity going into your card meter. You've got no money to live on.
Great, eh? Happy days.
He's no idea what he's put you through, like, by not giving you that £200 a month. £200, what is that, Lynne? £200 a month is nothing. Absolutely nothing to him, a working man.
Well, I can't even talk to him about money. He won't even discuss it with me.
That, to me, is just a cop-out.
Yeah.
It's a total cop-out. He's no right to do it to his kids, he's no right to do it to you. But I would threaten him, if you don't come up with the maintenance money, you'll not be getting to see your kids at Easter and during the summer. I know you need to respite, Lynn, and I know it's really, really hard.
I have done that. But it's the kids that suffer in the end, isn't it? It's them that suffer. They're not going down to see Daddy. How do you think they'll feel?
That's it.
So
you sacrifice that for them, eh?
Yep. We'd have no milk or basics like that if you hadn't given me that money. You know, I really appreciate it.
Don't start crying again.
I know you never see me cry, do you?
No.
It's not easy, is it? That's why I stayed with Stephen for an extra 2 years, because I just did not want to be a single mother. I knew how hard it was going to be.
Now cheer you up if you keep crying. Make your new bed. Get your hamster.
Get me a hamster, that's going to cheer me up, is it?
This will cheer you up. I get a new dressing gown. I know what it can be. Purple.
Purple dressing gown?
Shiny.
That sounds lovely. My mum and dad separated when I was 6. But I just became extremely independent. And I used to like clean the house and cook dinner and stuff when I was 7.
My family, there was no experience of divorce at all. The only thing I knew about divorce was it happened to less fortunate, less affable families, could I say. You know, it just seemed like if you lived on a council estate, you were a single parent.
But yeah, my mum found it very difficult to say anything like cuddles and I love you and stuff like that, so I never ever heard that when I was a kid. Hence why I tell my children all the time how I love them and I adore them. Because not having that when I grew up.
Lynne called to say that she had some news for me. She was pregnant by Alan, whom she was no longer seeing.
Oh, it's very cool. What's that?
A love heart.
A love heart? Oh, darling.
She was considering whether or not to have an abortion. She needed time to think, and so she'd asked Stephen to have the boys to stay for a couple of weeks. She didn't want to tell him about the pregnancy, so she said she was having an operation.
I haven't asked her what her operation's for. Knowing her, it sounds more like she's going on holiday. Even if she is having an operation or is she going on holiday, these are all factors which go in my favour. What am I sitting on?
You're sitting on leaves, Daddy.
Hold on.
Ah.
Guess where you're going tomorrow?
Where?
You should be at school, shouldn't you, at the moment? Yeah. So, you're going to go back to your old school for a few weeks? Yeah?
I was quite shocked to hear this, and I realised Lynne knew nothing about it. Then it dawned on me. Stephen was about to do something drastic.
I think they might be upset when they find out they're not going back, but that'll be like a momentary thing. I don't want them to go back.
now had his boys with him in Kent, and this time he wasn't taking them back. They'd all moved in to his mum and dad's. He hadn't yet told Harvey and Oliver that they weren't returning to their mothers. Lynne had just found out that he'd put them into school.
He came on the phone and, yeah, they're in school, so what are you going to do about it kind of attitude. All the insults about everything that came out on the phone. The house where I'm living is a dump. It's across the road from an industrial estate. Didn't get the boys' haircut. I'm a bad mother. I can't cope. I can't even look after myself, he says.
Come on, chop. She was quite angry, yeah. I don't know why she was angry. She was like, why didn't you ask me? You know, don't I have a say in it? I said, well, no.
It's just revenge, isn't it, really? I think it's revenge for me taking the children up here, away from him. He just can't stand that. He really just cannot bear it. And I don't think it's because he's not seeing the boys. I think it's because I've done it and he cannot stand it.
To take them back, in my view and lots of people's view, would be tantamount to criminal.
I think it's psychological warfare with him, which is a very strong statement, but I really do believe that's true. You know, it's like in his head he's got to get his own back, like it is a game, like it's a competition or something. As I say, he's won. That's what he thinks at the moment. He's won. But surely the people the whole point is that are losing because of the miscommunication, etc., are the children.
It's up to me what I do with them. I'm not really interested in her opinion.
He got me, you know, he really did. He got me good.
Stephen had applied to have the boys live with him permanently. Lynne knew that if she was to get them back, she'd have to wait to give her side of the story in 5 weeks' time. The boys still didn't know what was really going on.
Tell me what it's like living here.
Disgusting. Just kidding.
Have you spoken to Mummy?
Yes.
What was that like?
Sad when I miss her.
Did you tell her that?
Yes.
What did she say to you?
Don't cry. They always cry. When I miss Mummy. Wish Mummy and Daddy were together again.
In Edinburgh, Lynne was considering what to do about her pregnancy. Although she and her ex-boyfriend weren't really in contact, she was considering going it alone and keeping the baby, even if that meant being a single mother.
Because then I won't have to go through this whole thing like I'm going through with Stephen right now, with Harvey and Oliver. It'll just be my baby. You know, and no one can ever say, oh, I'm going to take that baby away from you or anything like that.
As in what's just happened to you?
Because it's a pretty hard thing for a woman, isn't it, when you've had children? For someone to take away your children that way. So...
Stephen had now told the boys that they weren't going back to their mothers,
Give it to me, Daddy.
and he was hoping that the news wouldn't affect them.
They both got a little bit upset. It's like, oh no, we're going to miss Mummy. So I said, well, do you miss me when you're away? They went, yeah. I said, well, Mummy will still be able to come and see you. And they're like, oh, that's all right then. So, you know, I've told them about it. And it wasn't a major issue for them.
Cut the pictures. I miss her so much.
Would you like to see more of her? Would you like to go back to home? What would you like to happen?
Mummy coming, we coming back to Mummy's.
When would you like to see her?
In a couple of days. No!
Do you like staying at Daddy's?
Yes, sometimes. But I like Mummy best. Hello, Mummy.
Hi, is that Oliver?
Yes.
How are you?
We're at the park.
Is it windy or is it sunny?
Sunny and windy.
Sunny and windy, really? I love you. Mwah.
Mwah. Big kiss.
Big kiss, big kiss. Mwah.
Mwah.
Hello. I miss you, you know.
I love you too. Mwah.
Can you give Oliver a kiss for me, okay?
Mwah.
Dinner's ready. Harvey, Oliver. No Lego at the table. He's not going to eat anything, is he? Doesn't sit on the table while you're eating.
Perhaps it was naive of Stephen and Lynne, and me, to think that there could ever be such a thing as an amicable breakup, especially where children were involved. No one had wanted things to turn out like this. But now they were breaking up in the most damaging way.
Come on.
A decision on the children's future was about to be made. Lynne travelled down to England. She told me that the fight for her children and the pregnancy had proved too much for her.
So I had to make the decision whether I was going to keep the baby or not. And I've decided that I was not going to. I feel very, very deep sadness about it all.
A year after their separation, Lynne and Stephen were about to find out which of them would take their children home.
Some things that I've learned from the marriage is that I'm a very controlling person. If I obviously be with someone again in the future, then I wouldn't do that anymore. I just let them be themselves more and try not to control them as much. Try not to mould them into what I want them to be. Just let them be who they are, rather than trying to do that. And that's quite a big lesson for me to have learned, you know.
Being married to Lynne has made me realise that had I been more open or forceful about what I wanted, then, you know, things might have changed dramatically years ago. But I think all I wanted was an easy ride, as it was, an easy life, which was my fault. After we split up, all of a sudden self-esteem came right back. Totally different person. It was an epiphany. Obviously, we're going to miss the boys dreadfully.
I never wanted any of this to happen, you know? This is not how I wanted it, and it seems a shame that it's come to this.
Well done.
It's just tears your heart out, totally. Totally tears your heart out.
Now that a decision had been made, Stephen gave up his fight. He and Lynne agreed the boys would live with her during term time and with him during the holidays, the same arrangement they'd made a year earlier.
We did in the end see sense, both of us, and put them first. I don't feel any animosity towards him at all, I really don't. Nothing. I don't. I kind of understand why he did it. It's good to be able to think about the future again.
Now that the boys were back with Lynne, Stephen began to phone them every night. And he started paying maintenance.
The mist has cleared. The scene at the end of the battle, you can have a look and see what's gone on. I've been lost. Sometimes you take a wrong path, you take a wrong turning, and eventually you find your way back to where you were going again. Just for me, it's taken 10 years, a marriage, a divorce and 2 children. I have a lot more control, and there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
Polygamy was practiced in Arabia before Islam, but with no restrictions on the number of wives. Islam limited it to 4. When a man marries more than 1 wife, it is known as polygyny.
Come for the meeting room.
Mizan's come to Derby to meet a married couple looking for a second wife to join them in a polygamous marriage.
Yes, I think. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Oman, long time no see.
Yeah.
Good to meet you.
You too.
And this is your wife?
My wife, yeah.
MashaAllah. Good. How have you been?
Oman